Hello and welcome to the Golden Playbook. Today we are going to be continuing our mock draft series. Today we are going to be drafting on CBS. Previously we have done ESPN, Yahoo, and Sleeper. So if you have not checked those videos out, make sure you go and do so. While you're doing that, make sure you smash the subscribe button and hit the like. Comment down below what site you guys play on, and if there's any other sites I have not done yet, I will make sure to do a mock draft on those so you guys can get used to the interface, kind of see what the rankings, what the ADPs look like on those sites, so you can know what guys you might get out of value depending on what site your league plays on. I've done a couple of mocks on CBS, and the ADPs are a little bit wonky, definitely running back heavy from what I could tell. We'll see if this draft is more the same, but without further ado, let's get straight into it. This is going to be kind of a classic PPR league. 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 receivers, 1 flex, 1 tight end. Kicker, defense, 5 bench spots. We are going to be picking out of the 7 spot. This is a 12 team. We'll go ahead and enter the draft now. And 3 seconds till we start. This is what the interface looks like. You got the players down the middle, draft board on the side. Looks like you have a minute to pick. We're going to sort it by ADP here, so we can get kind of a see who's at the top of ADP. Like I said, we had the 7 picks, so we'll see who falls to us. We don't have really any strategy heading into this one. We'll kind of take best player available. Most likely will be a balanced build and see what the best team we can create is. So I cannot tell if you can show like a draft grid on this, the draft board. I am trying by round, but let me know if you're a CBS user, if you know how to get the draft board on, but I cannot figure it out. So we're going to have to do with the small on the side. First 4 picks have been all running backs: Saquon, Jameer, Bijan, and then Devon Achane. I think the auto drafters get kind of bit with running back heavy. That's kind of what I've noticed on CBS. Anytime there's an auto drafter, they're going to take running backs early and then wide receivers later. All right, so we are on the clock. Saquon, Jameer, Bijan, Achane, Jamar, and CD have all gone. This is definitely going to be a wide receiver for me. We have a lot of the top guys to choose from. I'm not going to overthink it. I'm going to take Justin Jefferson. Go ahead. But I wouldn't fault you for any of those top wide receiver options: Neighbors, St. Brown, Puka, whoever you fancy. That seemed like a smash pick, especially with those top running backs already being gone. And with the minute timer on this, it is taking a while. So I will fast forward to our next pick in the 2nd round. Like I said, running backs go off very early in this. To finish out this 1st round, Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, Kyron Williams, all off the board. And then Puka rounded out. And then Genty is the 1st pick of the 2nd round. So very running back heavy to start. We're going to not let that deter us from grabbing receivers that fall to us. We can grab running backs later that we like, that have upside in those middle rounds. But if they're going to let stud wide receiver ones fall to us, elite alpha dogs, we're going to absolutely take the value on them, as Malik Neighbors and Nico Collins both go. If St. Brown falls to us, that would be an easy smash pick for me. So we are back on the clock. Like I said, I don't know why the auto drafter only drafts running backs early. So Kamara and Breece Hall go in the middle of the 2nd round. Making our selection very easy for Amon-Ra, and then we're going to hope a Jonathan Taylor, Bucky Irving, or Chase Brown makes it to us in the 3rd round. But let's go ahead and grab St. Brown, pair him up with Justin Jefferson, and obviously we have 2 alpha dogs in our starting wide receiver spots. So love the start to this team. I don't know why, whatever algorithm they have just makes the running backs be drafted on auto draft, but it's resulting in a good wide receiver start for us. We are back on the clock. Unfortunately, one of those running backs did not make it to us as the auto drafters continue to grab running backs. I don't know what that is about. CBS needs to get that fixed. It should just take who's at the top of ADP. But with that said, Brock Bowers falls to us in the middle of the 3rd round. 31 overall. McBride already went, so this is a smash pick for Bowers. We got our stud tight end to go with our 2 alpha dog receivers. This team's off to a great start. We're just going to have to find some running back value in a bit. But I'm not worried. I have a few guys I like in the middle rounds. All right, we are back on the clock in the 4th round, and the running backs are going like crazy. Let me just show you. There are multiple teams with 3 running backs and no receivers throughout this draft. So, it's getting thin at running back. For example, the top guys, Joe Mixon, Omarion Hampton. But top of the board here, receivers, JSN, Garrett Wilson. I think since a lot of these receivers are in the same tier for me, I'm going to go ahead and grab our top running back. And I have Hampton with the Najee news of his eye injury. I have Hampton above Joe Mixon at this point. So I'm going to grab Hampton, put him on our squad, and we now have Hampton, Jefferson, St. Brown, and Brock Bowers. This is a smash start. And then I think we're going to be able to get a really good wide receiver 3 on the way back, because this draft is crazy. I don't know what CBS algorithm is, but it makes a lot of these running backs go way early, but, makes a lot of receiver values fall to us. I don't know if this is how, normal drafts happen in CBS, but definitely interesting. And we are back on the clock. A week ago, Rashee Rice would have been a smash pick for me as our wide receiver 3. But with the recent news and a looming suspension probable, we are going to go ahead and take RJ Harvey as our running back 2. And I don't love this from the fact that now we have 2 rookie running backs. However, the drop-off after Harvey, in my opinion, is pretty substantial. As you'll see, Judkins, Caleb Johnson, Pollard. I just think RJ Harvey's upside is still there. And there's so many wide receivers that I still like to fill out our roster. And then quarterback-wise, with it being a 1-quarterback league, I'm easily happy to wait, grab, the QB 10, QB 11, and just be happy that my running backs and receivers are going to be that much better than these league mates. I'm telling you guys, this has been a crazy draft. The running backs are flying off the board. There's still fantastic receivers available in the 5th round. I'm sure it will be in the 6th round during our pick. Let me know if you guys are getting the same thing in these CBS drafts or if this is just a weird one. But definitely different than ESPN and Yahoo from what I can tell. All right, we are finally back on the clock with these minute-long timers. This draft is taking absolutely forever. But like I predicted, a lot of good receivers are still there. Travis Hunter, Jerry Jeudy, Devontae Smith, Sutton, McMillan. Literally so many good options to pick from. For me, Cortland Sutton is definitely at the top of this list. I'm going to go ahead and draft him as our wide receiver 3. And now we have doubled down on Denver players. We have RJ Harvey and Cortland Sutton, and then Hampton, Jefferson, St. Brown, Brock Bowers rounds it out. Going to be waiting on quarterback, like I said, and we're just going to continue to fill out these running back receiver positions. Probably need to look at a more veteran running back soon to kind of give, in case my rookies take a little bit to get going. Would love some early production out of some guys. But love this team so far. This team is absolutely studly, especially at the wide receiver position. We are back on the clock as just about the entire left side of the board is on auto pick. There are still plenty of good wide receivers I like, especially even scroll down. There's, Calvin Ridley, Juwan Jennings, guys I mentioned on my previous video. So we are going to go ahead and grab one of these running backs that can give us early production in Jaylen Warren. He's not going to give you any crazy weeks, but in a PPR format with Rodgers at quarterback, he's going to get 2, 3, 4, receptions a game, dump downs. So I think he'll provide good 10, 12 PPR fantasy points at the beginning of the season. If some of my rookies, Hampton and Harvey, get off to a little bit of a slow start, I think Warren will absolutely have some good production. As we see Calvin Ridley goes off, that is a little bit of a bummer, but there's still guys I like. We are back on the clock, and this draft is absolutely off the rails. There's guys like Zach Moss going off in the 8th, Darren Waller in the 7th, Zach Ertz in the 7th. I have no idea what's happening. But with that being said, Ted McMillan falls to us to be our wide receiver 4. There's other solid names, J-Mo, Pickens, Waddle. Some great receiving options. But I think Ted McMillan as the alpha dog in Carolina absolutely has wide receiver 1 upside. I think with Bryce Young coming into his own a little bit at the end of last season, I think Tet provides a big target who's good after the catch. I really like McMillan's potential upside, especially as a 4th wide receiver. He's not a guy you're going to have to start. We have Jefferson, St. Brown, Sutton already. So I love Tet McMillan on a squad like this, where he doesn't need to be great at the beginning of the season, but during the fantasy playoffs at the end of the season, he could be really swinging into form. I really like McMillan as a wide receiver 4. All right, we are on the clock. Juwan Jennings goes right in front of us, which is okay. We already have 4 stud wide receivers, and there's lots of good options here. But I think I'm actually going to take Bo Nix, pair him up with Sutton, so we'll have the stack. And I really like Bo Nix heading into his sophomore season. I think his upside with his rushing ability, I think he could be a top 5 quarterback on the upside of things. So I really like Bo Nix, and he fills out our starting role very nicely with Cortland Sutton as the stack. And this draft is finally moving a little bit with these auto picks happening, but still one of the longer mock drafts I've been a part of. Back on the clock, this draft is just insane. Running backs like Roshan Johnson, Kendre Miller, Jaden Blue are going off when Jameson Williams, Jalen Waddle, Chris Olave are still on the board. I just really don't understand, and it puts us in a predicament because our only 3 running backs are Harvey, Hampton, and Jalen Warren. And if you'll look at our options here, it ain't good. Garendo, Benson, Bigby. I mean, there's really not a lot we can do. I'm going to go ahead and take Benson and hope, James Conner's getting a little bit older. Maybe they make it a little bit more of a split. But there's just so many wide receivers that, I'll be fine getting any of them in the next round. But if we keep waiting on running back, we're just not going to have any viable options. So it puts us in a spot where we have to go kind of running back there, which is not ideal, especially with those names at wide receiver. But we'll be able to grab one on our next round. And then we just have 2 more guys and kicker defense until we shut this thing down. But please comment down below. Is this really what like a CBS draft is looking like? Because this is quite insane to me. Also, a defense going off. I've mentioned before on my mocks, wait until the last 2 rounds for kicker and defense. Kicker being the last round, defense the second to last. You're just wasting a selection. When guys like Chris Olave is still on the board, you're grabbing a defense. It just doesn't make sense to me. And Chris Olave is the guy we're going to grab. If he's healthy and Shuck turns out to be a solid quarterback, Chris Olave is a talented enough guy to be a top 12 wide receiver. Obviously, he has a lot of things going against him, but we don't need him to be awesome right out of the gate. He's our 5th wide receiver. So it's just crazy to me, these CBS drafts. Running backs going off early, and then crazy names like Darren Waller, and defenses. So comment down below if you've had the same experience on a CBS mock draft, or if this is just, a one-off, but, this is definitely crazy. Back on the clock, and we have put ourselves in a spot where we are going to take another shot on a random running back, because there's guys I like Ibuka still on the board for receiver, Keon Coleman if you want to take a shot there. So we're going to have to grab a running back just to give us some option. Let's just go top of the list, Braylon Allen, in case, Brees is kind of same guy as he was last year, where he didn't look crazy explosive. I think Braylon Allen could be, have some standalone value. Not my favorite pick, obviously, but we had to get something in the running back room. And then we'll probably just grab another wide receiver with our last pick. Let's see. We are looking at Bo Nix, RJ Harvey, Amarian Hampton, Jefferson, St. Brown, Sutton, Brock Bowers, Olave, Warren, Benson, Braylon Allen, and McMillan. So we have that is our full roster there. So we are done. Besides defense and kicker, I will not bore you with that. I know this has been long enough. Our final roster, we are a big Denver Bronco fan for this team. We got Bo Nix with RJ Harvey and Cortland Sutton, and then Hampton, Justin Jefferson, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Brock Bowers. On the bench, we have Olave, Jalen Warren, Trey Benson, Braylon Allen, and Tet McMillan. So obviously our wide receivers are very studly. Running backs, not so much, but we have the stud tight end as well. So comment down below what you think of this team and what you think of the CBS mock draft. I think this has been very, very crazy compared to the ESPN and Yahoo. Running backs going off very early. Just drop down in the comments what you think. Make sure you smash that like button and the subscribe button. I really do appreciate the support. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace.